What's up, everybody? Matt again, back with another video. Today's not going to be a vlog, but I just wanted to do a video on my current car so you guys know what's done to it and everything, and the plans for the future and just problems that I've had with it and stuff like that. Started off, the car is a 2002 Volkswagen Gti. They're also called Mark IVs. That's the body year and style. And mine was stock when I bought it. It had 198,000 miles. Now it's a little bit over 200,000, and I just got my license, so that number's going to keep climbing. A lot of people think that's probably a lot of miles, but the motor has good compression and everything. The timing chains are making some noise, so that's one of the things I'd like to do in the future. But other than that, the 200K isn't really an issue. It makes it a little bit harder to work on because a lot of the stuff's rusted, but nothing too big of a deal. Alright, so now that you have a basic idea of the car and what it is, I'd like to go over what I've done to it so far. Sorry, there was a bug in my face. But basically, let's start off with what we did to the inside. We have a Pioneer. I can turn the car on key for you so that you can see it, but a Pioneer touchscreen Bluetooth head unit. That's all as far as interior mods. We haven't really gotten into much of making the car look good because we've been fixing a lot of little stuff, issues that the car had. I haven't even owned the car for a year, and like I said, I just got my license, so it wasn't being driven that much. Moving on, we'll go to like the performance side and also the maintenance and stuff. But this is gonna be it. Accidentally killed the video there when I was opening my hood. Amateur YouTuber problems. Anyway, we got stage 2 motor mounts all around. That's the engine side there. Then underneath the cold air intake, you can kind of see the start of that bolt down there. That's the transmission mount. And then I don't feel like going under the car, but there's also a dog bone mount with the BFI inserts. These are stage 2 mounts from them. Do the New Speed P-Flow cold air intake with the heat shield, which I think it cleans up the engine bay a lot. It makes it look a lot nicer than just having that black box there. As far as other mods that we've done, we have a knockoff MagnaFlow like exhaust on it, so it's removed one of the mufflers and then the other one just got switched. Jesus, that guy was riding the still riding the double yellow. That was annoying. But lost my train of thought on that truck. Stupid truck. We don't like trucks, because now we don't know what we're saying. Anyway, moving on. Next thing we did was poly control arm bushings, lower control arm bushings, and then there's 2 bushings for that. We did polys in the front, or like at the front of the car, and then to the rear we did the R32 bushings just because it makes it nicer when you lower the car, which is something that I plan to do in the future. Okay, and then 2 other things that I did that weren't really modifications, but they were just stuff that I did to the car that was time consuming and took a little bit of money. When I bought the car, none of the locks worked, so I basically had to do a whole new lock set on the car. That was the ignition, that's gonna be the door lock, and then the trunk lock. There's a dog in the back of that trunk. This is probably not a good spot to be filming right now because cars keep driving by and messing it up. Anyway, did the whole new lock set. That was kind of hard to get the old ignition out and everything because those are security bolts with no heads on the bolts. So like you had to like Dremel lines in them and then get them out with a wrench. That wasn't working, so I ended up just Dremeling the whole bolt off and getting it out that way, like the whole head of the bolt. So those are all new, and I also got the switchblade key because I didn't have that. It's not programmed to the car yet because it has a little bit of an issue. And then also this goes to another mod I forgot about. The ECU it's tuned by United Motorsports. It's just like a basic VR tune, so it's nothing crazy. And actually, because of my check engine light for the timing chains, the car's kind of slow and laggy. But most of the time it'll get up and go where you need it to. Alright, I'm gonna get back in my car now because I had the hood open, obviously, to show you guys some of the parts that I did. And this guy in this truck just drove by and he pulled over on the side of the road. I wish I would have kept filming now because I didn't realize I just stopped it because out of like habit, because someone was pulling up. But he's like, "Are you alright?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just filming a video of my car." And he's like, "Yeah, I was just making sure because like your hood was up and you're stopped." It makes sense, I guess. I said thank you. It's nice that the fish just went right there. I can't see it because of the glare. But it's nice that people care like that. But no, my car's fine and everything. I didn't need him to stop. It's just this spot kind of sucked for that because people keep driving by. Alright guys, so now we're in the car and it's running. You can see, I wanted to show you guys the current lights I have on. I'm sure most of you guys know, common Volkswagen thing is to have a check engine light, so that's there. When I bought the car, it wasn't there, and I was so happy because I had like no lights. But I have the check engine light on, and that's a code for the camshaft position sensor, which I've replaced it, and I've made the determination that my chains are also making noise. Therefore, that code keeps coming on because of the timing chains. And that's not going to change unless I get those done, and that's pretty expensive to do. So let's just pray and cross our fingers that those hold out until I have the money to do that, because if not, we could have even worse problems than just getting the chains done. The next light that we have is the airbag light. It's an airbag fault light, which was kind of scary the first time it came on because I thought my airbags were going to go off or something. But I think I was looking up and reading about it, and I think it's because of the driver's side seatbelt. There's like an issue that it can have, and that could be why that's on there. If not, I don't really care because it's not like you need that to go away for inspection, and I know my seatbelts work and everything, so that's the important part. And moving on to the third light, we have a flashing like immobilizer light, which basically that light means that your immobilizer is activated, and that's not really a good thing because the car shouldn't run when that's on, and mine does, so it's kind of like an odd thing. And that goes along with the tuned ECU. It was some problem that happened when I put that in, and I tried to get the key programmed and it didn't work, so there's some sort of issue that way. And if you guys seen my vlog number 2 up on my channel, my friend's key actually unlocks my car, which is the same issue with that whole immobilizer thing. And because we were talking about everything that I did to the car, and one of the things was the stage 2 motor mounts, a lot of people probably think there's like something that you would want to do before that that's like more important, because that BFI stage 2 motor mount package was like $450, and I could have lowered my car for that price, which I would have much rather had my car lowered than the motor mounts. But the reason I got those motor mounts was because the stock motor mounts on these cars are like big issues. It's something that goes wrong, especially as soon as you modify the car to anything more than your stock horsepower rating. Those tend to go bad within like 10,000 miles. Mine were bad a couple months ago, and that's why I replaced them. Basically, one of the main things that showed me, hey, it's time to replace your motor mounts, was it was raining one night and I decided I was going to do a clutch drop burnout, which is never a good idea because that's wear and tear on your car. But I did like a 3K clutch drop, so that's not even that serious of a clutch drop, and did a little burnout, didn't even no red line or anything, and drove up to the end of that road, then got to the stoplight, and my coolant light came on, and I was like, uh-oh, this isn't good. Pulled over on the side of the road, and no coolant in the car, so went down, got a jug from Turkey Hill of water, poured it in, got the car back to my house. Luckily, I was close to home, but I turned out the next day, I was kind of mad, didn't feel like looking at the car that night. It was snowing, so I went out the next day and looked at the car, and turns out one of the heater core hoses that goes back behind my engine, there was a plastic piece on it that was literally broke. And I came to the conclusion that when I did the clutch drop, it threw the engine back into those hoses and squished it in between the firewall, which that should not happen. No matter what you're doing to the car, that shouldn't happen. So I was like, you know what, let's just get the stage 2 motor mount so we don't have to worry about these issues anymore. And if I would ever do like a turbo on this car or something like that, which is unlikely, those will help for that, just because they're gonna put up with it a lot better than the stock motor mounts. Alright, we changed spots now because that last spot was kind of hard to talk in with all the cars driving by and everything. Anyway, now we should talk about, I guess, future modifications and plans for the car. We already talked about the coilovers, obviously. We want to lower this car because the body roll is really bad around turns and everything like that. Plus it just makes the car look a lot better. All these bugs are going to annoy me. This is the problem about coming to a place with nice scenery, because it's nature and there's tons of bugs, which I don't really mind, but they're annoying when they're in your face. So yeah, we have the coilovers. I want to do new headlights because the headlights on here are really bad. They shine like 15 feet. The high beams aren't terrible, but the low beams are really bad. Also, they just look bad because they don't have glass lenses. They have plastic ones that get all fogged up, which you can fix, but I'd just rather get the new headlights because that kills 2 birds with 1 stone. We obviously need to get the timing chains done because that check engine light's on for those, and they're not fun when they make noise. And that's a pretty crucial thing. Get those done. Which isn't really a modification, but it's a maintenance thing, so it's still future plans for the car. We also want to get a sub. The speakers in here don't sound bad with this new head unit. They're still stock speakers. I don't want to get a subwoofer so that we can get some bass in here too. There's literally 3 bugs surrounding my camera. Like, what is going on? I never had bugs like annoy me so much. Maybe I should just get out of the car, because they're probably in here because I'm in the car. Maybe if I'm looking at the car, I can think of other things that we want to do to it too. Okay, yeah, that's another thing. A roof rack, we'd like to do that eventually. Possibly wheels and tires, but this is more of a daily right now than anything, so it's gonna get modded just because I'm a car guy, but it's not gonna be like anything balls to the wall, like full-on build. Holy, my windshield got so, or not windshield, my rear windshield, whatever, rear window. I literally just washed this car today and that just got completely dirty, along with like the whole back end. The front's still clean, so that's good. I also have a list on my phone that might help me think of some more stuff that I'm forgetting. There's like a lot that's going on. I can't even remember what I did to the car already, and I haven't really done that much. It's only been like 6 months since I owned the car. Okay, yeah, we got some more stuff on here. Want to get the windows tinted. Not sure how much yet. I want to go pretty dark, but I also really don't feel like dealing with police, stuff like that. I want to do a short shift kit because the throw on these cars is really long, and it's not like extremely sloppy or anything, but it would be nice just to get rid of some of that and make it a little bit easier. That's everything I have on my list, but I know, like, along with the timing chains, when you do the timing chains, it makes sense to do the clutch at the same time. So I want to do a stage 2 clutch just because the stock ones aren't very good. They do the job for like a daily driver, but if you're trying to drive the car like for performance or anything, which I like to do sometimes, it's nice to have a better clutch. Plus, if you're doing a new clutch, for me anyway, it makes sense just to get something a little bit nicer. And then when I get the chains done, I'm also probably going to do the head gasket. The place that I'm going to do the chains for didn't quote me much more for that. Okay, yeah. So the place that I'm getting the chains done, they can send the head out when they do the head gasket and have it resurfaced, which I thought it was crazy that they do all that for the price that they quoted me. So I'm probably gonna have those 3 things done all at once, and possibly, depending on my money situation, they could even get a cam at that time or something of the sort. But there's really no saying exactly what's going on until we get closer to the time of doing that, which is probably a while from now. Okay, so in an earlier clip, I literally just said about how, like, I can't even remember what I did to the car already. Just the other day, before the day I got my license, that night I was up till 4 a.m. working on the front wheel bearing was shot, and I found out the night before I got my license, and I was really disappointed because if I did get my license, I wanted to be able to drive the car, and that's just kind of like the biggest bummer, like if you get your license and can't drive. So I worked on that till 4 a.m. that night, woke up at 7, went, took my test, passed, came back home and finished working on it. But basically this whole in here, I ended up doing a new axle, a whole new knuckle, because I didn't feel like pulling my knuckle and getting a new bearing placed in it. And I had a guy with a project car that I was talking to, like not a project car, a parts car that he was parting out. So I got all the parts from him. I did a new axle because mine was leaking like grease. I had a new tie rod end because mine was busted open and leaking grease. And then the knuckle. So that whole side of the car, like suspension wise and everything, was taken apart the day of my license. So all that got done too. And other than that, I think it's all the maintenance stuff that I've done to the car, other than possibly like little tiny stuff. I know like one of the things that I didn't mention was painted trim on the sides of the car. That's just like black. That would normally be the same color as the car. And then the rear bumper strips, which this color is different than the bumper strips. Same with this one, because these ones were painted correctly, like by a professional, and these ones were just spray painted by me. And I'd like to have them all like the good color, but it's not something that I'm like too worried about. There's more important stuff that I should do first. Anyway, that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm not sure how many people are gonna even be interested in this specific car, because if you're not like a Volkswagen person, you usually don't like Volkswagens. The freaking arms. Where's Hannah to slap me? Anyway, the car is, like I said, it's my daily driver. It's not like it's a race car or anything. I'm not building this to be a race car. It's just to get me to and from work, to school, and just to get me around to do stuff. I would like to eventually, my dream car, I'm not going to say in this video because that'll be another video on its own, talking about my dream car and what I'd like to do that way. But that's what's going to get the serious modifications. This is kind of just to hold me over for now and get me around, like I said. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, whether you like the car or not, give it a like, comment, and most of all, the most important thing that you could do is subscribe to my channel and keep watching the content. It's not just car stuff, it's going to be all sorts of stuff, so you should be able to find something that you like, even if it's not every video that catches your eye. Gonna have a good amount of stuff on here, and I'd like to do a video kind of explaining what my channel is gonna be. I haven't done one of those yet, so that'll probably be up maybe the next video after this. And this one, I'm filming this on a Monday night, probably gonna upload it tonight, so you could expect that video maybe Tuesday or Wednesday night, just depending when I get around to filming it. But yeah, later guys.